Because there are reports that Prince Harry, Meghan Markle and their children could be set to lose their royal titles if and when Prince William becomes monarch. There are growing calls to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC interview, which aired hours after he lost his appeal for taxpayer-funded UK.
Your titles are gone. You're going to be Meghan Mountbatten Windsor. Your husband's going to be Harry Mountbatten Windsor. And all your threats of legal action, I think, is something that William will quite rightly stare down. But let me take you through.
Meghan is just still that desperate starlet trying to cling on to any bit of fame and fortune that she can get her hands on. Despite climbing up the pole, the highest that anybody could ever go, she slid straight back down to where she was before she even met.
Turning now to the growing fallout from Harry and Meghan's royal exit.
So that they would no longer have a title whatsoever, and their children would lose what Meghan Markle once referred to as their birthright.
William is willing to cut a limb in order to save the body. He's willing to even sacrifice the titles of his children in order to clean the Windsor house, because enough is enough. And Harry and Meghan know it.
I think there's much of a relationship between William and Andrew, but I think Harry and Meghan should be shaking in their boots right now if they are not already. And they could have had the best of all worlds if they had played their cards right. But this was...
Well, I do. I really do feel it will happen. And I think it's important to note that it won't be a revenge play by William. It's very...
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion.
I just can't stand her. I just think she's such a phony.
Harry's digging an even bigger hole for himself here.
Well, I think he's dug so deep now, he'll strike water any day now.
William is reportedly formulating a plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles.
The clock's ticking for Prince Harry, and trust me, he feels every single second of it. While King Charles is standing tall, fighting his illness with that royal composure of his, something far colder is happening behind the palace doors. William, oh yes, our future king, is quietly moving the chess pieces. Behind that calm smile, there's a strategy unfolding, one that could erase Harry's royal identity like it never existed. The titles, the privileges, the legacy, all dangling by a thread ready to vanish in one royal sweep. Right now, Harry's somewhere high above the Atlantic. But don't think this is some warm family trip or a charity visit. Oh no, my dear, it's a desperate flight for survival, a fight to cling to whatever royal roots he has left. Insiders close to Buckingham say Harry didn't even think twice. He hopped onto that private jet the moment he realized the storm was closing in. And this time, it's not a rumor. The palace is actually preparing to strip him and Meghan of their titles. Once and for all, the royal machine has shifted gears, and the old slow way of doing things, gone.
Here's the story right here. Reported by The Express, Prince Harry loses family title as other royal steps in to replace him.
Behind the scenes, everything's happening at lightning speed. Normally, royal decisions take ages, committees, meetings, endless cups of tea and discussions. But lately, the energy inside Buckingham Palace feels urgent, alarming even. People whisper that it hasn't felt this tense since Queen Elizabeth passed away. Staff who've served for decades are walking around with tight lips and nervous eyes. One palace worker, speaking quietly behind closed doors, said, "Everything changed overnight. The moment the king's health worsened, the warmth in the air just froze." Suddenly, emotions were off the table. Survival was the only topic, and survival in William's eyes meant cleaning house, cutting away anything that could stain the royal image. King Charles's illness wasn't just a medical matter, it triggered a power shift that's shaking the monarchy's core.
There's fascinating reporting from Radar Online, and it's their British-based reporter Aaron Tinney, a tabloid veteran, who writes, Meghan Markle already preparing to go legal over fears Prince William will inevitably come for her Duchess title. And he writes, Meghan Markle is panicked and defiant.
What the world sees as a simple health crisis is actually a silent revolution. Insiders call it the quiet succession. While Charles fights his battle, William has stepped into full command. Strategy meetings, diplomatic briefings, PR control, the man's running it all. And people say he's changed. The cheerful, soft-hearted prince of 10 years ago, he's gone. This William is precise, unbending, and icy when he needs to be. And you know who doesn't fit in his vision? Harry and Meghan. To William, they're not family anymore. They're liabilities. Each interview, each Netflix deal, every book, they've all chipped away at the royal crown's reputation. Charles may lead with love, but William, he leads with control. To him, the monarchy isn't a family. It's a brand. And that brand cannot afford drama.
I can't even. These two, Meghan and Harry, are the worst.
He doesn't see Harry and Meghan as wronged or misunderstood. He sees them as reckless, costly distractions that must be removed. Palace aides whisper that William's cleaning house. And when that line echoed down the hallways of Buckingham, everyone knew something monumental was coming. For years, Charles's compassion kept Harry's name on the royal list. He always believed time would heal things. But William, he doesn't believe in time. He believes in results.
Slaughtered this weekend because there were some business cards in the back of one of her podcasts. She's still using her royal title, HRH, despite our late Queen warning her.
Now that William's practically steering the royal ship, sentimentality is nowhere in sight. Once that crown sits on his head, whether ceremonial or real, he won't hesitate to cut off anyone pulling the family down. And yes, Harry's name tops that list. Before boarding his flight, Harry made one last attempt, one last heartfelt request for a private meeting with his father and brother. No cameras, no ceremonies, no royal nonsense, just family, just men talking like they used to, brother to brother, son to father.
Not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honour to have an HRH.
Absolutely.
So the fact that she's continued to use this HRH when they've been instructed not to.
But the palace gave him nothing, not a message, not even a polite, "we'll see." That silence wasn't an accident. It was a statement. In royal language, silence is louder than shouting. Silence means you're out. Decisions are being made, and not with you. That silence crushed him. It meant his presence no longer mattered. Meanwhile, inside the palace, William's team was already 2 steps ahead, crafting this plan under the banner of modernization. But make no mistake, my dear, that word's just a fancy way to say, we're cutting you off. Harry and Meghan are no longer seen as part of the royal future. They're seen as its greatest threat. And now, the plan's gaining serious momentum. Harry's flight back to London isn't a family visit. It's a last-ditch effort to stop the inevitable. William doesn't want apologies. He doesn't want tea time talks. He wants order, control, respect. He wants a monarchy untouched by chaos. Inside those walls, everything screams discipline. Even palace staff who once adored Harry have turned cold. One insider told the Mirror he made his choice. Now he faces the consequences. And that one line says it all. When Harry lands, the palace gates might open, but not the hearts behind them. He's walking into a fortress. Walking in, once cherished, now feared. And in the monarchy's eyes, unpredictability is danger. Then there's the shadow of the late queen, her quiet words still haunting the halls. Her Majesty didn't just leave behind her crown, she left behind rules. And one of those rules was aimed straight at Meghan Markle. She had told Meghan, never use your royal title for personal profit. It wasn't a suggestion, it was a royal commandment. But Meghan, oh, she turned that title into a marketing brand. The podcasts, the deals, the glamour, it all carried that Duchess label like a golden badge. Even now, her new cosmetics venture has sparked panic inside the palace. The polished Instagram reels, the magazine-like branding, it's all being seen as Meghan tying her royal title to her Hollywood ambition. And to William, that's rebellion, pure and simple. And rebellion in the monarchy must be dealt with. That warning from the late queen wasn't just royal advice, it was prophecy. She'd seen what happens when royals mix business with the crown. She knew people could forgive tradition, but never greed. And Meghan, instead of listening, used that royal sparkle as her personal spotlight. From archetypes to Netflix, from bestsellers to beauty launches, everything dripped with the Duchess tag. Now, insiders say the palace is done pretending. William's circle calls this the reckoning. The Queen's old rule, don't commercialize the crown, has now become the very sword hanging over Meghan's head. And then came the moment that changed everything, a YouGov poll. Oh honey, when I tell you that poll spread through Buckingham like wildfire, I mean it scorched every corridor. The results were jaw-dropping. Nearly half of Britain, 47%, said Meghan Markle was a bigger threat to the monarchy than Prince Andrew. Let that sink in. A woman with a microphone seen as more dangerous than a man buried in scandal. You could practically feel the tremor from Kensington to Windsor. For William, that poll wasn't gossip. It was proof. Proof that the public had turned. They weren't angry anymore. They were tired. Tired of drama, tired of interviews, tired of the constant Harry and Meghan show. One aide said when William saw those numbers, he didn't shout or frown. He just went silent. His expression, they said, was cold, focused, like a man reading a verdict. He finally knew what he had to do. The monarchy couldn't survive this circus forever. And in that silence, the decision was made. Meanwhile, Meghan's camp tried to brush it off, called it bias, said the media twisted the numbers. But even palace staff whispered, bias doesn't move a nation. To them, this was green light time. The people would support stripping the Sussex titles, and the palace was ready to act. Inside those grand rooms, old files came out. Legal teams started reviewing procedures that hadn't been used since the 1930s. Advisors pored over historical cases, looking for every technical way to remove titles without making it look like revenge. One senior figure even called it house cleaning with royal polish. And that's when William's two-step plan began to take shape. First, deal with Prince Andrew. Strip what's left publicly and decisively. Show the world no one is above reform. Then use that same precedent quietly on Harry and Meghan. No press conferences, no statements, no outbursts, just calm, silent execution. A royal chess move so smooth it would look like modernization instead of exile. And that, my dear, is the genius of William's play. He's not shouting, he's rebranding. It's no longer about revenge, it's about streamlining the monarchy. The new narrative, fewer royals, stronger image. But beneath that polished explanation is a far colder truth. This isn't modernization, it's elimination. To the outside world, it'll just look like protocol. But within those marble halls, everyone knows William is finishing what the Queen began, protecting the crown from chaos. The more Charles's health declines, the more William's shadow grows over everything. Diplomats now report to him first. Staff follow his tone. Decisions that once waited for the king now pass through the air. William doesn't need to snatch power. It's quietly landing in his hands. And that's exactly what terrifies Harry, because he knows William's style. Controlled, precise, unemotional. Where Charles hesitates, William strikes. Where Charles forgives, William erases. There's no Queen Mother left to remind them of family bonds, no soft heart to mediate. It's all business now. Harry, meanwhile, is unraveling in real time. Those close to him say he's restless, pacing between regret and denial. Freedom was supposed to bring peace, not headlines. California was meant to be his refuge, not his downfall. But everywhere he turns, the image he built is cracking. And Meghan, she's still polishing her Hollywood dream. She's smiling for magazine cameras, throwing glitter on every new project. But people are starting to see through it. Even insiders whisper that her charm's fading fast. The podcast that was supposed to dominate, it flopped. The reviews were cold, the excitement gone. Spotify moved on, quietly, like she never existed. Still, she proudly posted her 2 Shiny Signal Awards, pretending she changed the industry. That, my dear, is what palace insiders now call the Meghan effect. The ability to turn something tiny into a worldwide moment. It's not success, it's illusion. And while she poses with glossy lips and perfect lighting, the cracks are spreading. Former team members say her obsession with image has pushed people away. She spends hours editing one photo, one insider said, but only minutes planning the content behind it. Meanwhile, William's people are quietly taking notes. Every failed venture, every contradiction, every exaggerated headline. They're building a case, not emotional, but evidential. To them, Meghan isn't misunderstood. She's manipulative. And manipulation is the one thing the monarchy cannot afford. Because in the House of Windsor, dignity isn't optional, it's oxygen. Back in Montecito, the glitter's dimming. The phone calls are shorter, the brand deals slower. Meghan's empire, built on perception, is losing power. Even Hollywood has a new rotation. Fresher faces, louder stars. And Harry? Oh, he feels it deeply. He was once the golden prince, the soldier, the heartthrob, the people's favorite. Now he's the man who left it all behind for something that's slipping away. Friends say he's haunted by what-ifs. Did he trade legacy for loneliness? Did he abandon the only institution that gave him meaning? He's tried reaching out, little messages, subtle apologies, but inside the palace, forgiveness isn't currency anymore. Memory is, and the memory of betrayal runs deep. One staffer said, he apologizes when he wants something. That's not repentance, it's strategy. Even his security is no longer guaranteed. The safety net of royal protection, gone. And Harry knows, deep down, that life without titles means life without power. He can't take US citizenship fully without renouncing them. And renouncing means losing the last thread tying him to the crown. That terrifies him. So as that plane glides toward London, he's not flying home, he's flying toward judgment. The palace isn't waiting with open arms, it's waiting with sealed files and final decisions. The monarchy is transforming before our eyes. Smaller, colder, more corporate. William's Britain will have no room for chaos, no space for rebellion, and no mercy for the brother who chose fame over family. And when those palace gates close behind Harry, it'll hit him. Everything he feared was true. There will be no Duke and Duchess of Sussex, no Prince Archie, no Princess Lilibet, just Harry and Meghan Windsor, 2 people who once touched the crown but couldn't hold on to it. Because this time, not even royalty can escape the consequences.